Hey, great Friday evening. It is an amazing evening in the city of Brownsville. It is June something. Oh, June 5th. June 5th. And Jessica is going to have to yell because we can barely hear her
Hello, hello,
microphone.
hello.
Perfect.
Okay, okay, I just keep it like this.
Good. Hey, Joe, how's it going, my man? Joe Rodriguez is on tonight. Good job, guys. It's been a very interesting evening in the city of Brownsville. Again, we just received the numbers from Cameron County, and just to share real quick. Well, we'll share and then we'll do the predictions. Sorry, Cameron County has 22 positives. We have 11 of those. Half of those positives are from Brownsville. One of the positives in Brownsville is another patient at Spanish Meadows. So again, now we have 11 positive patients at Spanish Meadows and six employees at Spanish Meadows. We still have yet to receive information in regards to, hey Laura, information in regards to what other positives have come from the other nursing homes out there. But again, I'm still expecting us to get a pretty decent amount of numbers from the nursing homes. And again, the community cases are not stopping; they're continuing on and on and on. And again, want to welcome our amazing guest, Jessica Puente Bradshaw. Hey, Jessica, how you doing tonight?
I'm I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you.
No, it's always awesome to have you. Jessica has been a candidate not only for representative, but also representative, congressional representative, but also for city commissioner in the city of Brownsville. And it's always a pleasure to have individuals who have had that experience, and and not only have had that experience in regards to running a race, but are also very, very knowledgeable in regards to a lot of the issues and matters that are most concerning to the city of Brownsville. So thank you, Jessica, for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me again. It's really nice. I've been kind of keeping track. You guys have really just cranked it out. So I'm real proud of you both, really, for doing this. It's a lot of work. I can honestly say it's a ton of work, which is why I don't do it like you guys do. But I'm really proud of you guys, and it's great because it's another voice for the community as far as what's going on, not just here locally, but everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, it is a lot of work, but like I was telling Frankie, for me, it's a lot of fun, a mega fun.
It is fun.
And I've always done things like we used to have the weekly show where you came on a couple of times, several times. Uh, I enjoy doing things until they stop being fun. Once they stop being fun, done with it. But I'm having a blast, having a good time, and thank you so much for coming on. And of course, we got Frankie. How you doing, Frankie?
Good evening, Erasmo. Good evening, Jessica. Hello, world. Happy Friday. It's been an eventful week so far. Today, Beck's Brownsville Early College is having their graduation. So, again, we wish all the graduates, all the students, a very memorable day, night. I hope you celebrate it and enjoy it with your families and loved ones. I'm excited to be here at Osmo. I'm so thankful that Jessica is here with us. So excited for this Friday night show at Osmo.
It is. It's going to be a good one. Hey Mo, I love this man. It might be a short one. We've been going like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes, but we might just keep it under an hour or at an hour. Espuente is difficult to hear her.
Okay,
She's
you know
trying,
what?
guys. She's
Let me try this. I just don't want to echo.
Everybody.
That's good.
No. How's this? Better?
Perfect. Yes.
But am I echoing?
No,
No?
it's good.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
I-
Uh, there, Jessica's back. Good to have
Yay!
you. Condolences to Mr. Sammy Carancho's family and friends, Pace High School mates. Rest in peace. Our prayers out to the family. I received the post early in the morning. I wanted to wait till a family member posted it out there, but again, many prayers for everyone out there that has passed away and has suffered the loss of a loved one. Guys, let's go into what's going on. I'm going to say that the numbers are very bad. They're very telling. They haven't stopped, and we'll stay short on the numbers. I don't want it to get to the place, and Jessica, I don't want it to get to the place where we start to go like, we got another 20. I want us to continue to be concerned, because I think when we
Right.
start assimilating it to the point where we go like, meh, when that starts happening, we're going to be más y más descuidados. What's your take on the numbers?
Well, it's unfortunate. I tell you, Jonathan, my husband, who a lot of you guys know, he's been doing the numbers. He was doing them on a daily basis early on, but now he's kind of tapered off every 3 or 4 days. And in some cases, Cameron County has more cases than some whole countries. I think was Costa Rica one of them, babe? Which one was one of them? Sorry, he's like the other down the way. It was like Alaska or something. It's like we have more cases in the whole state of Alaska. And
Wow.
so when you look at it like that, it's really unfortunate. But you're right, Erasmo and Frankie. It's like a lot of it is puro descuidado. Like I've seen moms walking around with their kids, no mask. I saw a lady who was pushing a stroller at Walmart with her little baby infant, maybe 6 months old. The baby had no mask, no covering. She's walking around with a mask. I'm like, you know that you're risking your child's life. So people just they're getting complacent and lackadaisical about the whole thing, and that's not a good thing.
It is, and again, it's very, very unfortunate. I think, but one of the things that we've made mention, and we're going to continue to say it, because we received pictures from today's graduation, and again, as Frankie mentioned, congratulations to everyone that graduated. Hope everything went as you had dreamed that it would be in regards to today. One of the things that's very, very concerning is, the board president is up there on stage without a face covering. So is the superintendent. And they're taking pictures with people without a face covering. People are passing right by them, and it's like these are the people that are supposed to be in charge of educating our community, and they're teaching by their actions that the recommendations of the CDC, the recommendations from the state of Texas, the recommendations that have been given by Cameron County, the recommendations that have been given constantly by the mayor, by Mayor Mendez, don't matter. You don't have to listen to, and they lead by they're supposed to lead by example. It's just very, very unfortunate that we got this type of leadership. But I dare to say, Jessica, we don't have that leadership, that horrible leadership, that pathetic leadership only at BISD. We have it at every single elected body here in our area. What's your take on it?
Well, I think you're right about in a lot of cases. We'll have good candidates come and go. We'll have good elections that will come and go. But I think overall, what happens is, and I'm not going to point my finger at any particular person, but we have a lot of voter apathy, and people here vote based on name. And so, great. Let's just if politics is my business as a family, I'll just keep them coming. El tío, el otro tío, el cuñado, and everything just kind of blends in, and they become these monarchies because people know. And when you have that kind of monopoly on the politics, on the way a city is run, you're going to get people who get very complacent. They can't lose their jobs, so why do anything about it? And and that's really our fault as voters.
And Edgar, I don't want to disregard your question, Edgar. We'll come back to it, I promise. When we talk a little bit about politics, we talked about it extensively yesterday, but we'll talk about it again today. So, in case we're tuning out and we haven't answered, please remind me. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about it.
Erasmo, very, very quickly in regards to the numbers, we're still getting some community spread. We have a 1-year-old and a 13-year-old that really caught my attention. Cameron County is at 863, so it's only a matter of time before we hit the 1,000 mark. And this is something that we've been saying over and over again, that we haven't been listening to the recommendations of our local health officials. So I hope that we take better precautions in regards to the social distancing and wearing a mask. But the summer's coming around, Jessica. Everybody's going to want to go to the beach, hang out. We just had several protests. We had the Texas Chainsaw in the valley. I don't see this number, or I don't see the peak, our first peak coming anytime soon, unfortunately.
Right. No, I think that you're right. And, there's a lot of things that we need to do as individuals besides the protective gear or the protective face mask, el cubre caras or cubrebocas, I think is what they call it in Spanish. And but we also have to be healthy and wash our hands, eat right, take our vitamins instead of eating a bunch of junk food. And so there's a lot that is involved. And so are we going to change our lifestyle because because all of a sudden we have this pandemic situation going on overnight? Probably not. Some people might, some people might not. I went to Matamoros today, and they're checking temperature on the way. As you're crossing over. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. But when you're crossing the
Yeah.
bridge, they're checking the temperature. When you go into any stores, you have to wipe your feet, do the hand sanitizer, and they're actually counting and letting only a certain amount of people go into. And this is a dulceria, mind you, that I went to. This is a mercadito that I was going to, and so they're being very cautious about it. I'm not saying we have to do that or we have to emulate them, but it just puts in perspective. As a individual, and I'm looking at these things. I'm looking, wow, they really are trying their best to try to keep things under control. Are we doing it? And then, like you said, Erasmo, or is our leadership asking us to do that, or being the example when it comes to the preventative measures?
Unfortunately, they're not. And I agree with you. I was in Matamoros as well, and let me tell you, it seems like they're extra cautious and careful everywhere you go. I mean, something that I didn't even see here with us in Brownsville, and I'm sure it didn't happen anywhere else in the country. Shout out to Alexa Miranda. We love you too, Alexa. Thank you for watching. Coming in. Rudy's here.
So,
Yeah, we could actually start the show now that Rudy's here. Swaswa. I love Swaswa. Good evening, Belinda. Swasa's amazing. Rudy. Guys, one of the other things that I think that when Frankie made mention, alluded to it in regards to the protesting, and we'll go talk about the protests in a little bit. One of the things that is being asked of everyone out there is to exemplify peaceful protest, and take advantage of your constitutional rights, to assemble and to be out there, guys. But of course, there's a difference between protesting, and there's a big difference between looting and committing crimes. Please do not do that. It's gotten to the point that it has gotten a lot of individuals worried out there, worried to the point that they feel that they need to defend their property, they need to defend their families, they need to defend their livelihood. And I'll make mention of the gun store owner who shot two individuals, one in the shoulder and one he killed on his property. And again, individuals out there with wielding a sword, women standing in front of their stores getting hit by young men. I mean, it's just very unfortunate. We experienced something in that respects here in McAllen today, where a man actually took out a chainsaw. Yeah, no, like electric chainsaw or gas powered chainsaw. I'm not sure. I didn't check the make or model. But he was out there, like, get away, get away. And again, guys, that is the other side of the coin. Don't go that far out there. And then I think Jared made mention on one of the posts that a guy was probably wasn't even defending his storefront. He was just out there just like saying, hey, going to defend. Guys, everyone should have the right to peacefully assemble, protest, do everything that they want. There should be no retaliation, and they should have absolutely positively no fear for doing what they're doing. My only concern is not my only concern, but my only suggestion is that bravado, that determination, they continue on with a lot of the pressing matters that are going on in our community. Jessica, what's your take on it?
It's really unfortunate. I haven't really been posting about it on Facebook at all, doing the social media, just because it's such a heated topic. And I've taken the time during this COVID-19 to be at home and relax and do some gardening and take up my hobbies again. So I've tried not to comment too much, but I've kept track a tiny little bit. And as a person who's not really allowing themselves to kind of get caught up in this riptide of emotions, it seems to me as though everybody is on edge. First, we had the lockdown, so people are restless. They're like caged animals, really. Then we have this situation um, with is it George Floyd? Oh, I can't see. I
George
mean, that's
Floyd,
how
yeah.
Yeah, George Floyd, and and then we had the riots in Minnesota, and several days later, then they started spreading everywhere, and then we saw the looting, and I understand if business owners who are already suffering because of the shutdown now are having their windows broken, their items looted, their buildings set on fire. Heck, they're turning cars over, and I mean it costs money, and that's somebody's means of transportation, and so it's kind of like this pot of stew or chili or whatever that all of a sudden, we it's boiling already. I mean, it's literally boiling, and we're throwing chili into it, and we're throwing, bleach and all sorts of things to really make it volatile. And and people are one overreacting, and I'll be honest with you, they're overreacting not just because hey somebody's walking in front of my store, my business place of business, and so I'm going to break out a chainsaw or a samurai sword. That is a clear overreaction, right? But can you blame them, considering what they're seeing on television? And secondly, you have individuals who are overreacting. You know what? I may get blamed for this. It's a real unfortunate event what happened to us. Really unfortunate. I don't wish it on anybody of any color, of any race. Um, but is it necessary? Is what everything that's going on in the country really necessary? And I'm not talking about the peaceful protest. I'm talking about the damage being done to people, their property, and their individuals in general. It's just out of control. It really is. And most people, I think, would rather it not be happening. Period.
Frankie?
It's hard for me to give a take on this. Again, I think you mentioned previously that we don't know the intentions of these people, and I did see. I don't know if you saw, and I'll tag you later on. There's an organized looting event taking place sometime in either this week or next week in the city of Alamo. So again, this individual, he took it upon himself to, I don't know, protect businesses. Was he correct? I personally wouldn't do that. I would just get off and say, hey guys, move along. But again, we've seen what's happened throughout the United States and the devastation that businesses, especially minorities and small business owners, have encountered. So it's a very, very delicate situation. Again, we're all in favor of protest, peaceful protest. You alluded to, there's been so much time that we've been locked up in our homes, and I know that we've been restless, and we have all this energy. But there's other ways in order for us to demonstrate, our displeasure with what's going on in the world. But what's interesting is, this individual's actions. Was he wrong? I personally wouldn't do it. But we you know, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I understand where he's coming from. He sees what's going on, around the world, and he's probably like, hey, I'm going to stand up for small businesses. I don't know if he himself is a business owner, but I do understand where he's coming from. It's unfortunate that he took those actions. I would never threaten or put somebody in danger. But again, was that the heat of the moment, Jessica? Was that something that he just, oh, I'm gonna do this right now? Was it premeditated?
Right.
We really don't know, but we just hope that. And it seemed like a peaceful protest, but I just personally would have wished that he would have done something different in regards to dispersing the crowd.
Well, let me add to that, Frank, because you make a really good point. Like, what was his reasoning behind all of this? One of the things that really caught my attention is that when he and hopefully you put it on your page. You guys will put it on your page if it's not there already, and maybe people can look for it. He walked around. He kind of started at the front door of his business. He had the chainsaw. He turned it on. Now I think chainsaws usually you can turn on the motor, but the chain going like that's a different. You have to engage a different reason. He was really just making the noise. People, of course, get scared and they start walking away. And he starts kind of walking towards some individuals. And one of the things that he says that caught my attention was he said, "Don't let these people lie to you. Don't let these people lie to you. Que no te piquen los ojos." And he says, "This is the valley." And I think what his point, his intention was, look, we are not Minnesota. We are not a high African American or Black community. In reality, a lot of us are Latinos, like 97 or 5% of us are Latinos here, Hispanic, Mexican American, whatever you want to call us, we're brown. And so I get it. There is a group of individuals, Black Lives Matter, all of that stuff. I'm not saying it's not important, but for people to be protesting, I think this is from, I think this, I'm kind of trying to read his mind. He's in the valley. We're mostly Latinos, Mexicanos, right? We're
Yeah.
protesting something that obviously, it's not, we shouldn't let it happen, but we're letting emotions kind of get the best of us. And so what's going to happen next? We're all of a sudden going to start taking on, I don't know, like we're going to put on the mask or the outfit of somebody else. And there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. And then I'm just doing this because this is what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? And so I think that his goal was that, maybe what he did was definitely wrong with the chainsaw. But I think he was really just trying to get a point across saying, we're better than this. We're not them. We're not in Minnesota. We're here in the Valley where Latinos. Normally we're very nice, wonderful people, and we all get along. Amongst each other,
Well,
at the very least.
well, let me tell you, one of the things that I think someone mentioned on the thread in regards to a lot of the words that he was saying, and he was using a lot of, racial words, using the N word and stuff. But again,
The guy,
guys, the guy wielding the chainsaw. With
I know.
that said, guys, and I actually saw that part of the video. With that said, guys, I will say that I don't think he did not get arrested because he used the N word. As bad as it may is, it's not a reason to arrest the individual. He was arrested because he perpetrated some form of violence and possible harm to individuals, and he should have been arrested for that. It's not the way. Again, we are promoting peaceful protests and encouraging peaceful protests. In no way, shape, or form. I don't care. And Mike is making mention that a lot of people are going to come in to instigate the rioters into Brownsville. Guys, if that happens, that's a big, big no-no. He was dividing the North and the South. Maybe he wasn't sure exactly. That's what I've said all along. Appreciate people who join. BL was made to bring attention to injustice, saying that all lives matter is just trying to take attention away racist much. And appreciate that. Running around with chainsaw, emotions take over. It's madness, madness, guys. It was easy as this. The U.S. military said that the hardest part of fighting the Taliban was that they'd attack while approaching the occupied Taliban areas. But the minute they got into the town, they blended the villagers. They had no idea what friends. Oh, this is the one in regards to the protesters. Yeah, I could see again. That was one of my concerns. There was that guy that was out there at the AutoZone breaking the windows. That guy was a white guy, and he was all covered up and like in nice little Gucci clothes and stuff. That guy was an instigator. He was trying to promote individuals to go and loot and to cause chaos. That is wrong. Those people should be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. No one should loot, riot, steal. I haven't seen that video. I'll be back. Trying to take away attention from Black Lives Matter for what reason? I'm not sure who's trying to take away attention from Black Lives Matter. As that again, if individuals want to express themselves by holding signs that say Black Lives Matter, that is their constitutional right. Again, I am a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. I will defend anyone and everyone's right to protest and to express themselves, freedom of speech. I just requested people offer me the same quarter. That's it. But I mean, the Valley Chainsaw Massacre. He was riding with his chainsaw. It's not a good thing. Do not riot with your chainsaw. Do not riot with a sword. Do not riot with a knife. Do not riot with a gun. Please do not do that. Good evening, Yela. Yana. Guys, one of the other things that came out today, and I actually received a call from Philip Cowan, was a post that came up in regards to making an accusation in regards to some racial comments that were made by the board member. And again, it's very, very telling. One of the things I think that you always have to take into account is when individuals give specific times and instances. It's going back to the Me Too movement. Either you're going to believe them, or you're going to believe everyone, or you're going to believe no one. And again, victims should be believed. They should be questioned to make sure that the statements are true. But I'm sorry, Philip. Please do not go onto the little boy's account and post con zafos culero. I mean, do not use that terminology, that language. It doesn't help your case. It is very, very, very unfortunate. And again, I think that's something that needs to be discussed, to be And I will say it: if anyone thinks that there's no racism on that school board, you're very, very mistaken. I mean, it is very adamant, and I've shared it. I've shared how Drew has hated individuals that should have gotten a raise in regards to a position out there, and went out there and gave the position to one of her little buddies, who might be part in her little demographics. And that's just very, very unfortunate. And they do it so blatantly that's what really makes it sting. Did y'all see the post from the little boy, guys?
I saw it. I don't know if you're talking to me. I was actually
Uh,
trying to see if I could post. Let me see if I can get it on there. I don't know if it's too long. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna come up. I'm figuring out this thing. It's on there. I don't know if it'll show it. I saw the post, and it's so unfortunate. Apparently, this young man was going out to dinner with the Cowans. Him and his what was it a young man? It was a young man, right? I was reading it like I was there, and so I couldn't even mention a woman. But he was being criticized. Well, one, he was being told that he spoke English very well, and that maybe he wasn't really Mexican, or what? Are you sure you're Mexican because you speak very well? You don't speak like a Mexican, I think was what he quoted or said. And then the other thing, they went out to dinner, and this young man was cutting the steak, but he was holding the knife wrong. And apparently, Philip Cowan got very upset by that and told him that he was holding it incorrectly, and he took it from his hands and tried to put it, teach him how to do this. And I don't know how old he was at the time, and that his wife, Cowan's wife, said, just let him eat how he wants. And that Cowan said he needs to learn he eats like a Mexican. I mean, and that his English was too good for a Mexican, was the actual quote. So there you go. I mean,
There's two sides to every story. I
right.
want to give Mr. Cowan the benefit of the doubt. We'd like to hear on his side again. What were the intentions of this young man? Are they true? Is he being truthful or not? It's social media. It's something that he posted. He did allude to with the recent discrimination that has been going on because of George Floyd. That's what led him to make that post. But you know, uh, Mr. Philip Cowan is denying it. So there's two sides to every story. We would love to hear from Mr. Cowan if possible. But I would like to reserve my opinion or my comments until I hear from him. That's just me.
Well, again, I agree. I think one of the things that you have to analyze, and again, individuals that I didn't even know about the post until this afternoon when it got shared and continuously is getting shared throughout the city of Brownsville. I mean, I had no idea. I don't know who this individual is at all. One thing I will say this for sure: this is not a fake account. It is a young man, that has had, I guess, the courage to speak out. And again, are you going to vilify the victim? That's the question that everyone needs to ask themselves. Are we going to vilify the victim and say, well, no, he's wrong? Wait a minute. You have to give the victim the benefit of the doubt, have to listen to what they say, because then throw out all the Me Too movement stuff, and don't believe the victims anymore. Don't believe females when they complain about sexual harassment. Don't believe individuals when they say that they've been treated in a way that is deplorable. It's a horrible way.
I think what happens is that, when it comes to these movements, the Me Too or what have you, is that all individuals have a personal inclination or a personal bias. And so if it's someone I don't like, I might say, oh, they're definitely guilty. If it's someone I do like, I might, or let's just say politics wise. Well, Trump said this, or this woman came up against and says these bad things about Trump. I hate Trump, so she must be telling the truth. Well, if I don't like Trump, then if I like Trump, then she must be lying. And so we kind of, where do we draw that line, and how do we mitigate that bias so that we are being fair to both the victim and the victimized, because they can easily just flip. I mean, that happens constantly, especially in this political age and era, and the whole social media thing. And like you said, Erasmo, getting stories, the dissemination of stories happening very quickly through Facebook, Twitter, or what have you.
Frankie, nothing. Okay.
Like I said, Mr. Cowan, if you'd like to come on, the offer is always there. Again, we'd like to hear from our elected officials, and if he's denying it, more credit to him. But again, I will reserve my comments until I hear from Mr. Cowan. I think he deserves that.
Well, I will say that because of it's such a current topic, I did send him a link inviting him to come on. And that's one of the reasons why I was a little bit distracted. I did receive a phone call from Mr. Cowan. I'm not sure exactly what the content is of the phone call. He did leave a voicemail. I will call him after the show. So, Philip, I know that you might be listening. I'll call you as soon as we're off. Again, I mean, sure, come on, bro, and give you the time. And we'll invite the young man as well. If the young man wants to come out and express his 2 cents in regards to what happened, the situation. Again, one of the things that because of the details of it, and we have seen Philip explode at times. There's actually videos out there in regards to a lot of the forums and a lot of the debates as that actually happened as of recent. So again, we're going to give everyone the opportunity, to speak their mind and let us know what they believe, what they think, and what their take is on everything. But again, if anyone thinks that race, again, it's so easy for a lot of people here to say, "Oh, there's racism over there," and not think that there's racism here in Brownsville. Come on, guys. I mean, please.
And let's be real honest here. We Latinos, Mexicans, Mexican Americans, us brown people of all, from dark brown to light brown, we're the majority here. And so there are also some, Anglo community, and there's some African American community here, uh, albeit small. But I will say there's also racism against white people here, and it happens. It's not just because the browner you are doesn't mean that's the most racism. It just really depends. Where are you the minority, regardless of whether as a country, obviously we have a certain demographic of color, but in the valley we're different than the demographic that maybe happens in, I don't know, some in Lincoln, Nebraska. And Latinos, if not already in the very near future. I remember as a kid in high school, they used to talk about how statistically Latinos were going to be the majority of the population. I think we're just about already there.
Yes.
And so when you're at that level, um, obviously the racism may and potentially will occur. But here in the valley, the Anglo community is the minority, and they do experience racism. I'm not saying anybody in particular, but it does happen. So it just exists everywhere.
Pineapple, I agree with you. What Drew Brees said was an always standing for the flag is respect for your country. If they don't stand and feel that this country is the greatest, then they are free to leave and go anywhere else. In the valley, it's called raza. My kids are half white. The valley always talks about whites.
Yes,
Well,
thank you, Mike, because it's the same thing with my kids, and my husband. He's Anglo, and he has experienced it, here and there. It's from some people. It's not nice.
why did the superintendent and Doris deny that some employees take a picture with their child graduate on stage, but yet Ruben Cortez was on stage with his daughter at the veterans graduation? Because it's a compadrismo. I mean, guys, we already know that. We already know that elected officials can do anything that they want around here, and there's no rules or limitations in regards to anything out there. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. But again, guys, and I'm going to say this: it's not the politicos' fault. It's not the compadres' fault. It is the voters' fault. The voters keep on re-electing these individuals back into office without questioning motive, without doing the proper research, without giving other individuals an opportunity to serve this community. So at the end of the day, it's the voters' fault. Guys, you get what you voted in.
Hmm.
You get what you voted in. One of the questions, and I'll go back to it just because I promised that I would, was in regards to what was my take in regards to Vanessa, candidate Vanessa Tijerina for state senator, in regards to arrest. Again, guys, I'm going to say that you know, heart goes out to her family. Again, she's in politics. You know, she is held to a different level, and you know, she needs to man up to her or woman up to her actions, and you go through the process. It's very, very unfortunate for her family, more for her family. I mean, she's an adult. She knows what she got herself into. And again, let her go through the process. As of right now, they are merely accusations. They're accusations. They are not a conviction. So let her go through the process. But one of the things is, again, guys, is that, you know, for the sake of that the kids were involved in the situation, I would say give the family a little bit of space.
Right.
Just because there's kids involved, give them a little bit of space. Not for her. And again, people might say, Erasmo, she's a friend of yours. She is most definitely not a friend of mine. I don't communicate with her. I think I've spoken to her maybe 2 times. But again, as the prayers for the family, and may she go through the process and take the steps necessary for her to take. It's very unfortunate. But again, guys, I think that a lot of the and I want to say running for office isn't easy. As Jessica can say, it takes a toll on the person. It takes a toll on the family as well, guys. Y'all have to take that into consideration. It's not like, oh, it's they're running for office, so they have to get slammed. That's a really crappy attitude to have. Really, guys, it's a really crappy attitude to have because a lot of the individuals that actually place themselves up there for office, they don't have all these thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in for their campaigns. You know, they have to sacrifice their time, their family's time, their income in order to run a decent, clean campaign. And y'all still vote for crap anyway. So, guys, y'all vote for crap and then you want to throw crap at people. I mean, come on, guys. And I'm not referring to Vanessa at all. But, guys, you get what you vote for, and all that we voted in is crap, and it's just got to stop. It's not easy running for office, is it, Jessica?
No, it's not. And I keep getting asked. It's not. It's a lot of work. It's 2 full-time jobs, not just one. It's 2 full-time jobs, especially if you want to do it the right way for anybody. And when you are not part of a political system, when you're not part of families, a family legacy, I think it can be even harder. You know.
Yeah.
It is.
In regards to her, you know, we wish her well. You know, her focus should be on her family. Um, Politics is brutal. Politics is cutthroat, and you know, many times the family gets involved. Um, you know, I personally, you know, wouldn't put my family members through that. It's apparent that you know she has issues. You know, for better for worse. We just hope for you know a good outcome. Hopefully that means more time with her family and maybe off live for a bit. But you know, Vanessa, if you're listening, we wish you well, and you know, just go through the process and focus on your family. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and again, go through the process, and if you know you did some wrong, you know, just you know admit it and move forward. I mean, that's what the only thing you can expect. Now, I'm not justifying anything that she did or allegedly was done in no way, shape, or form. Just let her go through the process. But guys, you know, you have to take a lot of things into consideration because a lot of the times people are saying, "Oh, she's a candidate, so we can throw everything we can at her." Take into consideration she's also a mother, and good or bad, and you know we're no one to judge. She's a mother and a single mother is that I think. So again, take that into consideration, guys. And you know it's very very stressful running a campaign. It's very very stressful. You know the type of job that the individual has. I think she's a nurse or something to that effect. It's very very stressful. So again, guys, you know a little bit of slack in that respect. Let the individual go through the process. It's all you can do. No, yes, I didn't do that. Oh, that's Jessica Tijerina. Tijerina? Cowan is crooked like Sylvia Atkinson. Um, I'm going to say that the board, the majority of the board, are guilty of permitting Sylvia to do a lot of the crap that she did. Again, you have to take it some things into consideration, folks. The majority of the board voted with Sylvia constantly and regularly. So they deserve, again, when someone's in office, guys, when someone's in office, they run on their record. And that you could scrutinize to hell and a half. That you can scrutinize to hell and a half. There's no holds barred when you have a record. When you're going out there and your vote is going to affect the money of our children and our community, then all no holds barred. You get what you're coming to you. And let me tell you guys, a lot of these people on this board, majority of this board, Minerva, Prissy, Drew, and Philip, they fomented the culture that permitted Sylvia Atkinson to steal our children's money, our community's money. So I'm sorry. If anyone wants to come and they care about the children, that's bullcrap. Because if they truly cared about the children, they would have protected our district's finances, our teachers' raises, our students' resources by not letting Sylvia pocket all that money that she did. Any take on the Sylvia matter?
I don't have any take on that. You know, I'm not in BISD. I know you were at Erasmo and doing your best to get information out. It's all part of the politics. And I think you and I had a conversation one time, and we talked about how BISD has the largest budget. I mean, it's a huge budget. And that's just, I don't know, maybe people get dollar signs in their eyes, thinking that the bigger the budget, the easier it is to kind of nickel and dime, your way through that. Um, so I don't know. It's just really a terrible thing. It makes it look bad. As a community, we look bad when that happens. Um, we don't attract people, and by by not attracting people, I mean, people are we're trying to get people to move here. And I was reading a post, I think it was in one of the other Facebook pages, where they were someone asked, "Hey, we're going to be moving into town. What kind of things are there to do in Brownsville, et cetera, et cetera?" And some of the comments that were being expressed on there, as far as the frustration with politics and just the culture, as far as the community culture, were really negative, and it's really unfortunate that we're allowing something like this to happen, and it happens, throughout the valley. I remember many times people saying, "Hey, isn't that where all the like the drug trafficking happens? Isn't that where the sheriff is corrupt and they found like millions of dollars in the trunk of his car?" I mean, come on, guys. I know it happens everywhere, but can we just not have it happen here too much?
Sylvia Atkinson was a brain. She is a brain. She had her hands in every pot, from TSC to BISD to possibly other school districts. It's unfortunate that people get into politics for all the wrong reasons. You did allude to BISD being one of the largest school districts. It is the largest school district south of San Antonio. And again, all they see is dollar signs. You know, People, because of Sylvia, have decimated the community. They have stolen from our children. It's unfortunate that people on the board, for better for worse, they're scared of her. Is that because they know information? Because she campaigned, she funded their campaign? It's been 6 months since she was arrested for allegedly accepting bribes, and we have yet to hear a statement from the district. And you would think that they would be transparent, they would be upfront about what's going on. So it just goes to show you the type of individual she is. She's a very smart woman. She had her hands in everything, and she probably has dirt on a lot of people. So it just makes you wonder, why is everybody so quiet? Why is everybody so, skirting the situation? Again, we need to be upfront with what's going on. I think people genuinely want to hear the truth. It's whenever that there's a silence, Jessica, that makes us wonder, what else is there? Are we just scratching the surface? Is there more to this? Does it involve God? I don't know, the city, the county, the college. Like we had previously mentioned, she's a brain, she's a smart woman, but she didn't use those smarts for our community's good. She used it for her pockets good, unfortunately.
Right, exactly, and that's just too bad. I think that sometimes I think why do people stay here and do that here? Is it one because we are that dumb as a community and we let these things just happen? And and then I wonder, would these individuals go to a different city, a bigger city like San Antonio, for example, and do that there? Does that happen? Could they accomplish that there? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if they are, like you said, Frankie, are they that smart or are we that dumb? Which one is it? Um, because I would hope that if they tried to do this in San Antonio, in Houston, in Austin, in Dallas, they would get eaten alive. So they come here and they're like this little fish who is in a pond with other tiny fish. But if they were to go to a bigger city, they'd get eaten alive themselves. So I hope that, I don't know, maybe there's still hope for us if we just smarten up a little bit more. And I know that what you guys are doing, which is getting information out, is trying to wake up the community. And over time, hopefully, that will definitely pay off, in spades, um, because we have got to clean our city, our school districts, our town, our county of the bad politics going on.
Well, that's one of the things that I think that the community has an opportunity this November, to truly to start the process of making a difference in our city. And again, guys, it's just the start, because it's not only BISD that has issues. The city commission, we've discussed how the city commission is a mess. We know that TSC is a mess. I mean, the same individuals on the BISD board are trying to get their vendors approved up at TSC. And what has TSC done about it? I'm surprised. I'm very, very surprised that the TSC board members haven't come up with a comment or a statement, condemning the actions of Prisi Roca-Tipton, condemning the actions of trying to slip in vendors to get contracts at TSC. Not a peep, not a word from none of them, from none of the board members at TSC. And again, guys, where's all that transparency that Prisi was talking about? Oh, transparency. Oh, transparency. Where's all that transparency? Why has she not come out with a statement saying what she was doing by trying to get vendors in by sneaking being in that one of those little committees that approved a contract for them up at TSC? No, I mean, guys, but at the end of the day, we're here only, talking about facts. It's your call to make this November. This November, it's your call to make in order to move forward and get rid of all these individuals. Yeah, BISD needs to sanitize, Juan, but it needs to sanitize the board. It needs to start at the top. Sanitize the board. Sanitize the superintendent and his deputies. Sanitize all his Edinburgh people. That's what needs sanitation. What's like in the Matrix? We need to get rid of family dynasties with politics, and BISD need new, fresh faces. We all do. Epstein at Brownsville? Yeah. Corruption protest. No, but I don't think I could bang Sylvia. I would like to. I'm sorry I read that, guys. Sorry. You're right. Some of the agitators are calling for defunding police departments. Thoughts ridiculous. And again, any politician out there supporting the motion to defund police departments is crazy, is nuts. I mean, it's at this time, again, you cannot judge an entire force out through, or all forces throughout the county, our law enforcement, by the actions of 3 men. You cannot. You can't. It's crazy. And that they're trying to go out there and defund, I think it's actually Minneapolis police want to defund the police department. At this point in time, it's crazy. It's crazy. She is the George Soros of BIST. Hola, that's me, Frankie. I've heard about your show. Thank you for doing great things for Brownsville so far. A great show. Thank you, Liz. Appreciate you. Atkinson's followers don't like Erasmo because he speaks the truth and exposes their actions. Erasmo BISD, remember in November, preach. Commerce talk only through los otros teams. No violence. Sanitize BISD. Prissy didn't try and slip vendors. She did slip them. She just got caught because of you. The Zabaleta was tricked by Prissy and Adela to do the tranza. Yeah. Bleach, the scrub, the superintendent. Necesitamos carne fresca. Preach. The funding police is illogical. It's crazy. It's madness. They don't even know what defunding means. Anyway, boy, reading the Richter scale. Uh, it is kind of crazy. Any other topics that we need to cover tonight?
Oh, what was down there? Let's see.
Frankie?
We pretty much touched base on everything we wanted to talk about. Again, in regards to the protest, something that our friend previously mentioned, we see it going around the world. Horacio, our friend Horacio, we see what's been going on around the world, and we've seen the protests going on here locally. We have been seeing some protests. I wish that there were some protests for corruption. I wish there was people up in arms demanding answers from the different entities that have, stolen from us. I just hope that we are more aware of what's going on in our own backyard. Again, we're not denying what happened to Mr. Floyd. We denounced that and the actions of the police. But I personally would like to see people rally for people not being honest as elected officials, people who have stolen from our community. It's only like that we can progress as a society. But whenever we focus on other things, we're turning a blind eye to what's happening here in our city. If we love Brownsville and we want it to progress, we need to hold people accountable. We need to ask those tough questions. We've been fortunate enough to have a show that has made those questions. We haven't necessarily got on all the answers, but we've brought issues up to the forefront, and that's what we should do. We don't have all the answers, but we demand the answers, especially from our elected officials, because they took an oath, Jessica, to be on certain boards for the better interest of everyone as a whole, not for their pockets, not for their friends and family, and definitely not for themselves. I hope November 2020 we could come to elect people who would have the best interests of us as a community and not themselves and not their friends. It is only like that we could make progress as a society. We have been known for far too long for being corrupted down here. Is it our close proximity to the border? Who am I to say that? But I just wish that our direction, our emphasis would be more on bringing light to certain situations. So I'm all for protest. I'm all for bringing things to light. But I just wish that we would use all our energy to focus on entities such as BISD, on the city, and on Cameron County.
I will say, Frank, in regards to the counters, just to interject really quick, there was no. I'll talk about it more tomorrow at 9 in the morning. Just to interject, there was no decision made on the calendars because I placed them on my page and exposed them. What they're doing now is they're going to ask teachers to see if for them to take a vote. So they're going to vote to see, but it's puro guato. They already know which one they're going to take. But I'll talk about it more tomorrow. I'm sorry.
So which one do you think they're going to pick?
I think that they're leaning towards B only because they don't have to work Saturdays and they're going to let people and parents have to bring in their kids on Saturday. Again, I think C would be a better option, but again, it's just it's so difficult because at this point, Jessica, for some people B works out, for other people C works out, and it's just going to be chaotic. At this point in time, I just want them to go back to A. But Jessica, any last words for us tonight?
No, you got me started thinking about the calendar. I only got option A and B, sorry. But no, I mean, I think that what you guys are doing is a great thing. Thank you for having me on. I'd love to come on more often whenever you see fit. But I think it's great that you have a lot of different, I've kind of kept a side eye on it. You have a lot of individuals that you are inviting that are coming and speaking. I appreciate that you're giving, like in this case with Phil Cowan, you're giving him an opportunity to come on, and I think that he owes it to the community. If there is something wrong with that he do that. I think that if we are going to be a community that improves and is transparent, then we have to not only elect the right kind of people, but elect people who are willing to at least, even if you come on and say, hey, this is the situation, it's categorically false, and that's all he wants to do, and that's great. But I think we need to get to know who we are electing better, um, and and really let's all, as a community and as an individuals, maintain. I mean, let's keep our head on our shoulders and think straight and think right. The chainsaw wielding is not right, but the looting isn't right.
It
Um,
isn't.
and so let's let's be sympathetic, empathetic, but at the same time, let's keep our heads straight, because this coronavirus thing is not going away tomorrow. It's just not. We may have a lull in the summer, but come flu season again, it may come back with a vengeance. And so that's not going to stop. And then with these riots and things, I mean, like I said, we have to keep perspective. And there's so many great things. And I know I'm preaching a little bit, but there's so many great
No, no, no.
things. We have families that we should be happy to have. For us that have health, if we have our home and we have TV and electricity and water, let's just enjoy those things. And I'll be honest with you, and I'll just share a little bit. So just give me a second. I have always been a huge advocate of voicing your opinion, and if it means to protest, then it means to protest. I have done my share, picketing and protesting. Um, and so I think that it's a great thing that we're in a country where we can do it. But at the same time, I'm seeing people who are protesting because it's trendy or it's cool or it's something to do or it's something to live stream. And that is not, that's not, in my opinion, that's just drama, that's theatrics. Okay. And if you really don't have anything to be upset about, then stay home and enjoy your life, and then and do it a different way. But instigating others through your anger and your screams and yells to do something worse than what's really going on. And I mean, like, if I'm out there screaming and yelling and making people angry to the point that now they want to go break windows, that's wrong of me, you know and so I wish that people would kind of maintain some sort of composure, because we really have a lot to be thankful for.
Amen, sister. Guys, we'll be back on tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I apologize for the quick show. Jessica, please come back, Jessica. I mean, you're
Whenever
welcome
I'm
anytime.
going back.
Come back. Run for any office you want out there. Maybe BISD board, but also, come back on our show, and we'll. I mean, you're always welcome. You're an amazing asset to the community. We do appreciate you. We appreciate your opinion. You always have a very educated and very down to earth response. So we appreciate that. Guys, we'll talk more about the calendar tomorrow morning. Rodney Brown should run for BISD. He has my full endorsement. So yes, I would love to have Rodney Brown on the ballot. And again, I will go out there and carry signs for that man. That man's a good guy. Guys, have a great day, great evening. Stay safe. Don't do anything that I would do. Be good to each other. Be good to me. Adios. Hasta mañana, 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll talk some more in the morning, guys. Take care. Hasta pronto.
Bye.